Good evening, guys. My name is Captain Gajanan, and I'm here with a weekly Instagram live on decoding millennial mariner. This is a new concept. I mean, concept is not new. Decoding is new. That, that we are bringing it to you, and because the Instagram is a space where a lot of millennials are there and they are doing their a lot into social media. So we thought Instagram would be a right media to reach out to everyone who's a millennial. Into concept something, millennial are generation who are born after 1981, 82, and they're very special generation. Why do we call them special? Because they have a different understanding, psychological level, cognitive skills to understand a topic. So we thought we will try to break it down into various challenges that they face in learning, and thus probably we could then provoke a thought into trainers as to how should we teach and train these guys. The concept is already old in the many universities and institutes in the world who are dealing with the kind of millennials, but it is up to our mariner training institutes that they to adopt this, because today the larger workforce on board vessel is of millennials who are there, who are taking decisions. So myself and Debashish Basu, Captain Debashish Basu is also a young master mariner, and just to introduce him a little bit, he's a master mariner, still sailing, active master, but he's also an entrepreneur. He has gone into a space of developing new ideas, concept of vessel inspection checklist. He holds a company called NavGuide, and he's pioneering a lot of new concepts which will suit the young generation, young masters, young chief engineers who would want to command, control vessel, and go through that inspection regime systematically in a most important manner which is required. Not only looking at the ISM checklist or SMS checklist, but also a little add to the flavor to that of cognitivity. So let me call upon Debashish Basu, who's already here, and today's discussions are going to be only between me and Debashish Basu. So extremely sorry for the request which are coming in to join in live. We would be happy to take you on live. Hi Debashish, good evening to
Hi,
you.
Captain Gajanan. How are you? Good evening. Good evening. Good evening,
I'm
sir.
fine. I'm doing
How
well.
are you?
It's good to see you
Yeah,
again. So I was
great.
just
Yeah,
explaining the viewers. This is episode 2 of the Decoding Millennial Mariner, and this is only you and me. And we are not accepting
right.
any
Yeah,
requests. There are many requests coming in to join for live thing, but this is
right.
basically to do a structured discussion, because last time when we were discussing the topic with Chief Engineer Praneeth, of course discussions between the
Of
mariners
course.
always go haywire. So it is given, and it is given because
Hmm.
we have so much to share with each other, and it's again with the psychology. So
Yeah,
we are just trying to break that psychology into a very structured discussion. So it benefits all the users, all the listeners, all the viewers. So as to what we are trying to say. So
right. Right.
hello everyone. Hello. I'm not going to say individually hello because I can't see the comments now. Anmol, hello, hello to you. Now please listen in. So I'm going to ask few questions to Devashish, and Captain Devashish will then do his best to answer. Since he's working in this space of developing these tools for learning through his company called NavGuide, so I'm sure that he would be able to put more light into it, and we can also be a part of it, and help him decode this thing. So my idea is only to decode millennial psychology into a more effective learning, which will again benefit the seafaring world and shipping at large. Because
Yep.
having said the millennials, having said the shipboard operations, the things are not going to change. So we're going to find a golden middle way to either merge these two. So So the mariners learn and shipping gets delivered with the absolute, fundamental workforce. So Devashish, to start with you, I mean, we
Yeah.
explained last time millennial mariner and we explained the concept of it also.
Right.
And I was telling the viewers that the concept is not old, uh, but it is already used in other industry. And in maritime training institutes, is yet to be used. It's yet to be, started. We are on online education, and mind you guys, millennial learning does not mean computer, does not mean online classes. We're not talking about that here. That you're already expert in and you're using it for last 1.5 years in India and everywhere else, thanks to the pandemic. But here we're talking about the learning tools, based on the cognitive skills of the millennial. So Devashish, what would you say to
Yeah.
begin with? What challenges this millennials face, to start with as a hindrance to learning a normal trickle down regulation learning or a classroom regulation or a conventional, education which happens in the maritime training institutes. What are the challenges that we have?
Yeah, so one of the things for that this is I think this was one of the questions during our last discussion. Also, it came up as a feedback question that what are the main challenges, and me I personally have spent almost 2 years trying to understand the psychology of the millennial generation and the young generation. That is the kind of work we do as a company as well. So I can say with certain amount of confidence that there are some very particular challenges that they face, and I would be very happy if some of our viewers would comment on what I'm going to say now. So one of the challenges is that we have always depended on this system of learning from seniors, which is a very proven technique. Which is a we have if we learn something, if we remember a skill, almost every time we go back to having learned it from some senior in our lives who have acted as a mentor in different ways. Now, there comes one of the biggest challenges that today's young generation face. Now, number one, there are ships which are doing 15, 20 ports. No one has time to teach over there. No one in this. I mean, the seniors do not have time. Sometimes the seniors are not aware of the right manner in which to impart this knowledge. So that there comes a cultural barrier. There are language barriers. I cannot tell you how many times I've been approached by junior, even ABs. If you find an AB on board and who wants to be a third officer, or a third officer who was a rating before, he would probably tell you this, that for them it is a big challenge that where do they learn their jobs from? They want to be good in their jobs. Okay, they know they have to pass the exam. But what about being proficient on the shipboard jobs and learning the on-job skills? The officers very few officers would want to spend time with them actively outside of their schedule to teach them. Cadets, in that respect, are a little more privileged in the sense that cadets have a proper training regime under which the second officer, third officer, or the chief officer is spending some time with them. But even then, even the cadets or even the junior officers, if they want to learn something, there's a disconnect in many ships. I would not say it is in all ships, and I'm sure many of our viewers and many of us have trained such juniors ourselves, and we have seen how that can flourish like a budding plant. How you can impart a knowledge and then it can take shape and then can make a certain person more knowledgeable and more skillful. But today's generation is having a big disconnect in that respect, and I am getting this kind of a feedback from various parts of the world. In fact, in a few days back, I was approached by a YouTube channel in Egypt asking me to have impart some of because they have been following our work on YouTube and various other channels. So they invited me to talk to the young generation over there in the Arabic world, essentially. So what I found is that they actually want to learn so much, and they are really, really interested, because this is one of the things that we sometimes say about them, that they are millennials are entitled generation. They are lazy. They don't want to work. They don't want to learn. It's not like that. It is absolutely not like that. This is something our parents have said about us, and their parents have said about them, and it just goes on that every time we are thought about us. But this is not the case. I can see real interest and real energy to learn. Only thing, this is one of the biggest challenges I would say for a millennial to uh, that who does he learn from, or who does she learn from? How does that person, sometimes the seniors are just so rude, not approachable, or sometimes there is a big language barrier. The language barrier is one of the things that is, in fact, if you're sailing with multinational crew, or multinational officers and crew, you would really, I mean, most of my life as a master, I have sailed with multinationals, and you have to address the language barrier if it is there. Otherwise, you will simply, let's say, in an engine room, if the second engineer is not communicating with the third engineer properly, learning is, forget about learning. Even the normal shipboard jobs will be under trouble. If there has been ships where they, these things keep happening, and that is one of the biggest challenges. There are others in which
No,
we
but
can go
these,
with.
just sorry to interrupt you here, but I mean, what I'm saying is these challenges were there during my time as well. I
Sure.
mean, communication has been a problem with the human mankind, with few people. I mean, it has always remained with them. So,
Correct. Correct.
so what I'm trying to say,
Now,
I mean, what we are trying to see, I
yeah.
mean, okay, we don't want to, I mean, it's not a question of labeling millennials as lazy or entitled or privileged kind of special kids. You know, what I'm trying to say is the environment and technology in which they are brought in has definitely impacted their learning ability. Okay.
True. True.
Now,
Absolutely.
very, very frankly, I tell you, I mean, the people like I mean, start from home as to,
Yeah.
your kids or my kids. So as they're growing up, like we had so much of, depravity during our generation growing up that, like, not we wanted to excel. We wanted to get there before anybody else, so that we fell into that race of getting
Yeah.
more knowledge, more experience by getting involved in many things. Today's generation, somehow, I feel, not calling them lazy or entitled, but today's generation, somehow I feel that they have got everything at their disposal. And the worst enemy of this could be the information. The entire, I mean, telling you, before my son or my daughter asks me anything, they Google it and come. So it is also a test for
Yeah.
me whether I know it correctly or not. So when they have
Absolutely.
information
Absolutely.
available at the fingertips, and that is going to impact learning very much. Because
Well,
learning is not a process of reading information. Learning
yes.
is
Yes.
process is basically a process of transforming that information into knowledge. So this is
Absolutely.
I want to elaborate. I want you to elaborate on this. As to
Right.
earlier, information to knowledge was through, I always call it a satsang, because you have either classroom, in teachers, company, in friends and peers company, and learn things. So spiritually, it's a satsang,
Yes.
but that
Yes. Yeah.
satsang has now broken again, more with the pandemic, and more with the kids are having ability to learn alone, because they have a computer, they have a laptop, they have a tablet, they have a phone. Everything is available everywhere. So elaborate on
True.
that a bit, please.
True. So let me. You have touched on a number of very important topics. We can easily go over to the next session as well with what you have just said. But I would like to touch on that topic, which is very initially the one you said is very pertinent. That of course you had these problems in every generation, language problems, cultural problems. In our world, in the seafaring world, it has always been there. Now combine that combine that problem with a person who has always, as you rightly said, who has always had a number of options to gain knowledge. The younger generation and the more the younger we get, like today, the millennials, the mariners who are 18 or 19 years old, who have just joined the ship, think about them. They have always, for at least the last 15 years, we have seen the use of mobile phones, the use of internet, the use of technology in a way that was never there before that. So we are getting a generation who have essentially grown up with these gadgets and what the gadgets have done. Now, one thing important, I'm not going to label this as a good or bad thing because it is how it is. Let's accept. So now what the gadgets have done is that for them, if like you said, if they have a question before asking you as a father, I mean, as their child, they'll probably Google it. They'll probably search it on YouTube, and they'll probably have an answer. If it is an information question, they'll probably have an answer which is probably better, maybe better than even what you understand or you know. But they cannot get experience from that. That is information, as you rightly said. But what I'm trying to say is that combine this cultural disconnect with a generation who is impatient. Now, this is a dangerous combination. If you think of 20 years back, we were very much used to reading manuals, and I have personally read the pump room manuals or the pumping manual to understand how a cargo pump works. Absolutely beautiful knowledge, but then again, you have to think about it, you have to spend your time on it, and you have to, work with it, and then that knowledge gets transformed into experience. Now, in today's, if you think about the younger generation today, a lot of them have easy access to knowledge and they are extremely impatient. Once again, not to categorize this as good or bad, but that is one of the biggest challenge, because they are passing, many of them, I know some of them personally, and I'm sure you do too, that many of them are passing out of college, entering the marine life. Of course, it is very difficult to get a job today, but if they manage to get on board, they are going with a lot of dreams and, I will change the world. This is a very challenging profession. They have heard it from their friends because their friends are in college doing some class and they are sailing in the middle of the North Atlantic, holding the helm or steering the ship. So now when it comes to, learning their job, in a number of ways, they are facing that the ease with which they could learn before when they were at home is not the same at sea. Now, whether it is the thing that is happening a lot, especially in the age group between 20 to 30, and I am speaking from a little bit of research that I have done, is a great amount of engagement crisis. So what I mean, this is real statistics. This is there was an experiment carried out. It's called the Gallup's engagement research, and worldwide they said that if you take 100% of a workforce, 29% of the people are actually engaged in their job. They're interested to do. A huge percentage is doing this job because they have nothing else to do. They do not know anything else. And about 15% worldwide is actively disengaged, which means they really hate their jobs and they just cannot wait to get out. Now, that is a world average where we are also including professions like, artists or who really love their jobs. But if you come down to the seafaring profession, now this is a paper which got published in the Asian Journal of Shipping and Logistics back in, I think, 2015 or 16, that in this profession, only 11% are engaged who are interested in their jobs. Now, think about this. If you have what is the implication of this percentage, or why are we talking about this percentage? Because all the innovative ideas, all the problem-solving capabilities, all the people who you remember as being good mariners fall under this 11% of the mariners. The rest of it, there is a huge percentage of mariners who are doing this job just because they have nothing to do, nothing else they know. They have to do it. They would love to quit, but they are not fit for anything else. and about 12% are hating their jobs. I have had a fourth engineer who used to cry on a daily basis at the end of the day, on a daily basis. I mean, this went on for a month or so, and then he made a very big. He had opened the seawater valve, and the seawater got into the freshwater tank, and it was a huge disaster, and he had to be signed off. So this, I'm not, now we can always say that okay, he's not, he should have done this and he should have done that, but it cannot be a coincidence that only 11% of the people we have managed to get interested in our profession, whereas we all know there is a lot to be interested about, but only 11% feel that way. That's not a coincidence. We should think and talk about this. I mean, we should discuss about these things and try to find where we are going wrong in dealing with this generation. I think that is important.
No, but
Yeah.
it's very interesting, the statistics, and they are shocking as well because the amount of efforts are being put in training, and amount of skill upment is requirement, as a requirement from industry which is coming to MPIs at the moment, that the seafarers should be skilled, and the officers
Yeah.
should be highly skilled and things like that. I'm just visiting the past back, from convicts running the ships earlier to
Yeah.
millionaires running the ship now. There's a huge transformation. And the transformation has happened because the technology of running ships has evolved. You know, it has come from old,
It's a lot.
maybe just
Yes.
to the engines, some steam engine, diesel engine, now probably a nuclear battery engines will come out, autonomous ships you're talking about sensors, you're talking about, whole set of, like Ignis is mandatory now. We have so many gadgets on board vessel today, no paper charts, things like that. So looking at that advancement, the seafarers need to be more involved and more skilled. 11% would not suffice the requirement of industry as such,
Yes.
and and
Yes.
and one side you have regulatory bodies like IMOs and flag states, and talking about human error, about human factors, things like that.
And this discussion, Captain Gajanan, is so pertinent, as you mentioned, the IMO and the regulatory bodies and the people who are making decisions in this industry. They should actually, the reason why we also started, like between you and me, we started this discussion was not to be sort of preachy about this should be like that and like that, because then we fall back into the same old generation thinking that we have a prejudiced idea that it should be like this, and then another person with another idea. No, this is not that kind of the session is just to invoke thought that we should discuss about this, we should solve these as we should take it up as a problem, because what think about it, this is an analogy which is very very pertinent here. uh, we have, like you said, the technology is developing in the shipping industry as well, and it is developing in the sense that ships are becoming more modern. The kind of equipment we are using are more modern. We are having electronic charts. We do not even think about paper charts anymore for the last couple of years. Different things have evolved. ME engines, camless engines, and so many different. Can you?
Yeah, I can hear
I
you.
think,
Go ahead.
yeah, sorry.
No, no.
So, what I'm saying is, when that evolves, when the technology evolves, obviously we have to change the way we are training the people. Now, what are we going to change is very important. That is a discussion we should have. Obviously, the content has to change. Like if you want to train someone on a camless engine, you cannot have the same content which you are using for a regular conventional engine. Content is changing almost on a daily basis, and that every company understands, every maritime training institute understands. Today there is SIRE 2 coming for tankers, there is a dry bulk management system coming for bulk carriers. So people are very actively thinking about how to change their content to be relevant to the present industry. No one is thinking, or maybe very very few people, I should not generalize I mean, whatever I'm saying, it should not sound like I'm being preachy, because that is
No, no,
not
absolutely
the
not.
idea now.
See,
No,
it's
but
not being preachy,
but
but what I was trying to get at is, like a lot of people ask the questions, the two questions of this. Multime University is asking, why can't we have more practical education?
Yeah.
On the in the
So
MTIs.
what? Correct. So just to finish my point, that we have always the industry has tried to be relevant as regards to the content part of it, but there is a very important part of education which is how you deliver the content, the silo, the channel through which you are delivering. Let me give you an example. Now, if a certain shipping company wants to deliver a recent incident, which has happened in their fleet, and they want all the ships to know about it so that they take care of it. The information is new, so every ship has to. So new content we have. How are we delivering it? The delivery system which they would use is either a safety circular or a vetting bulletin or a written message or a new checklist. Essentially, we are talking about the same instruments which were being used 25 years back when we joined the sea. It was in a different manner at that time. Emails, probably less number of emails. Today they have a different other ways to deliver, and this is not to criticize at all. I mean, I would definitely say that, but to invoke a thought that why don't we think about delivering it in a different manner? Like say, instead of just saying it, why don't we develop something which would really make the young generation engaged to, some activity that they can do in which they learn this, and some activity which is not thought about by which is thought about by someone who understands how they think. This is very important. But that and some companies are doing fantastic work in this genre. Carco, for example, Captain Pravesh Diwan. I'm a huge fan of that person. He started a revolution back in about 12 years back with 3D imaging and 3D modeling kind of thing. Very recently on WhatsApp, we were watching these, I think it was from NYK or Chevron, I don't remember, but there was a egg-based training kind of a thing, which was through a cartoon. That is
Yeah,
something new. I
exactly.
mean, at least something new. That is what I'm talking about. The same information can be delivered in many ways. So why are we not, or very few people are actually thinking of this delivery mechanism? This delivery mechanism happens to be, in today's day and age, the most important thing. And yeah, I mean, I can say this with some amount of, my company also is doing that kind of work, and we are getting such feedbacks from the young generation. I cannot tell you how receptive they are to these new approaches to deliver information. You want to teach someone about enclosed space entry. Instead of just saying like a checklist, like, okay, this is what you do, that is what you do, you make them think, because there has to be an element of education which makes you think instead of telling you the answer. Our education system in a lot of ways is a linear system where we say a problem and then we say the answer. But if you have a mechanism which lets them think and find out the answer, even if it is a wrong answer, at least the person has thought about it, and then when he finds out the right answer, it will stick to that person. So these are some of the changes that we are trying to bring about, and
No,
yeah,
absolutely. I fully agree with you. Like, suppose somebody has grown up watching Doraemon, in his childhood, and
yeah,
unless it will not become. I mean, see these cartoons when you watch. I mean, we watched what Ramayana, Mahabharat when we were growing up, and we had all the time stories, bedtime stories going about Ramayana, Mahabharat. So unless somebody says, Shri Krishna has done this earlier, it doesn't get into my head. Or Shivaji
yeah,
has done this, it doesn't get into my head. Because they were all
right,
role models. And of
right,
course we saw our parents doing good things and elder brothers doing good things and neighbors doing good things. And again, those role models change to the teachers. So for these generation, I'm telling you, what I've read so far is also like they are into so much into this, the role modeling of because of impatience or whatever it is you call it.
yeah.
Unless Doraemon, you use Doraemon to do a enclosed first entry, I'm sure that 99% ABs and OS will remember that. जैसे कि
Yes,
ये ऐसे
yeah,
करता था यार, वो
fully.
डोरेमोन में बराबर वो एससी बे पहना, उसने ब्रिज को बोला कि मैं जा रहा हूँ अंदर, है ना, ही इज
Yeah,
चेकिंग हिज लाइफ
yeah,
लाइन प्रॉपरली, है ना, ही इज यूजिंग a
true.
3 point contact, for climbing down the ladder or climbing up the ladder. He's facing the ladder. Doraemon is facing the ladder. So no matter of information, checklist, SMS is going to help. So this is the exact change. So I said, from convicts to the millennials, the entire change in. You see, somebody asked me a question, when about Dufferin. I mean,
Yeah.
T.S. Dufferin was one of the best practical training institutes, rather training ship. But
Yes.
क्या है, the education requirement or requirement getting in merchant navy and surviving material different. Today you ask somebody,
Yeah.
I'm really by some of the things I get distinct. Today, who has got, 4 years, 5 years time to learn things and then start earning? Nobody has time.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
telling
And
you,
one more
people.
thing, and one more thing which I feel is very important to understand, that the education system through which we are still taken through, the conventional classroom education, which we are following in the maritime industry also to a large extent, has was developed in the industrial age. It was developed in the early 19th century, 1830s, 1840s, that time. So why was it? And until after post British era, it was very common to have. I mean, if you would be if you had a qualification, you would have a job, and this concept was very important. So the qualification was a very important factor over there. Now, in today's day and age, even if you have a qualification, there is not much of a guarantee that you will have a job. So that means, I mean, think of the mariners who have sailed with you, who were not really good performers. Did any of them not have a certificate? All of them had certificates, but they were not really. Many of them would not stay in the industry because of so much of competition. So what happens when there are more people than there are jobs is that the qualification becomes a very common thing. Qualification is not, of course, everyone has to have the qualification, but what is more important, what you would find in a smart second engineer or in a smart fitter or a smart pumpman is the creativity part of it, how he uses his knowledge to solve a problem. This is something that our education system very rarely addresses. How do we develop? It is quite acceptable that in a classroom, if there are 40 students, if there are 40 students in the classroom, it's quite acceptable that maybe 10 of them will be understanding all the subjects perfectly. The other 30 will, maybe 20 of them will understand a little bit, so they will probably score 60% or 70 or whatever, and they will just pass. And the rest of it, they will not understand, but still it's acceptable. This is how our education system is. It's a linear system that you pass everyone through the same box and silo system. Now, when these people go on board, is it acceptable that 60% of our workers, they do not understand the job? Only 10% of them understand it. It is not acceptable in the real world. These people they are going to probably lose their jobs, because today qualification doesn't guarantee you a job. You have to be really, really at the top of your game, especially in our industry where the stakes are really high. A simple fitter on a tanker or a OS on a bulk carrier, they have the power to cause $1 billion claim for the company. We are working at high stakes. This industry is not a simple, this is a very hands-on thing. And when we are in the middle of the ocean, everyone is important. Everyone has to be at their 100%. How are we preparing our leaders for that? That is a thought that, yeah, I think we are towards the end of our time now. I believe, yeah. So
Yeah, very much, Devashish. Thank you very much for this, because I mean, the quest still remains same. I mean, we will address this probably next time in a more better manner also, because the practical education given before and the practical education now for the millennia, the acceptability due to the change in the millennial thinking is very important. See, I did 21 months on board vessel at a stage when I did. I had a bigger hunger in my belly than anything else in life. Okay, and
right.
and, and I was a man enough when I came back from the ship. I went to the boy and came back as a man. So idea was that ki I could do that. But today I see a lot of people coming to me even asking for, at home they come with their parents asking them. So one of the first questions they ask you, what degree I will get if I do this? Is the degree recognized? See
Yes.
the thinking. When my time, when somebody had to tell me about joining the shipping or ship, when I was to join army that time, I was giving SSB, and I immediately jumped into it. I said, yes, I'm ready to go. Well, I
Right.
had to get into armed forces, no matter what. वो देशभक्ति का इतना 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 तूफान था, in
Right.
1984, Indira Gandhi got killed, and this, I mean, the situation was so volatile those
Ah,
days. I said, yes,
I
I
see. I
must
see.
get into a armed
Uh-huh.
forces.
I
So we
see.
will
Right.
discuss
Right.
next time a little bit on this as to
Yeah.
practical
Sure.
training of
Sure.
TS
Sure.
Chanakya, how it should change now
Sure.
from
Sure.
TS
Sure.
Zafri. We are still going to teach them about sounding pipes. Fine. Teach them about sounding pipes. Very important aspect of the ship. Teach them about the bunker fuel oil tanks. Teach them about the bunkering, the fuel oil systems. But how would they understand better and faster?
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
nobody wants to spend more time today in this. So because they have a they are privileged kids, they understand, they think they understand faster because they are open to that information, they already had that information.
Yeah. I
Today
mean,
a
it is.
joining cadet has got much more information than what you and me had
Yes.
about shipping.
True. 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 True.
Yeah, I
And
think in that note,
when
yeah,
yeah, sorry,
sure.
sorry, sir. I mean, I was just trying to conclude with the note that this the probably a takeaway from today's discussion could be that I mean, not to set anything in stone that this was like this for so many years, so it has to continue like this. Instead of thinking that maybe we should think of a different approach towards training, and we can discuss that how different kinds of approaches are being used around the world today. It is not when we were developing our approach towards the training that we do, we did not get into the maritime industry. We were looking at what Lamborghini is doing today to train their employees, what the automobile industry is doing, what Virgin Atlantic is doing, how the aviation industry is modifying itself. Why do a certain company have so much of loyalty towards, and not just marine industry, but they are using technologies and they are using techniques which are way beyond what we see today. Believe me, this is not. I can show you these things now. That's the kind of the just as from my end, just a parting thought that. It's not about my opinion or our opinion as such, but we should get into this kind of a discussion that what we can do, and the more minds, the better. That what we can do, a constructive discussion, instead of saying that the young generation is disconnected, they don't want to, instead of complaining about them, just think about what we can do to train our leaders, next generation leaders in that manner. That's the whole point that I wanted to come.
Yeah, absolutely great. Thank you, Devashish. Thank you for this, and quite a thought-provoking today. And we have at least identified few challenges that the millennia faces, and there are good questions on the practical training versus practical training of today. How relevant it is. So I think we should
Yeah.
deliberate more on this. We will try to get somebody from MTI this time. So at least maybe somebody from Cosma I'll try to get, and then probably we can have a discussion little bit onto that aspect
Sure,
as to
sure,
a practicality
sure.
of training, how it could change. So one topic would be better. Anyway, thank you very
Absolutely.
much for you being here.
Thank you,
Absolutely
sir.
pleasure. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's
Thank
close
you
this
so much.
show. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye bye. So viewers, this is what it is, and thank you so much for joining this show of Millennial Mariner, and we're trying to decode it. Idea is to get back to you with some thought-provoking discussions as of today with Devashish Basu online, and then we will try to get some industry convert as well. So you have a comprehensive view, and also we can change. If we can change few minds by these discussions, why not? I mean, it's a positive thinking and positive thought. Thank you very much. Good
Thank you,
evening and good night.
everyone.
Thanks.